Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys are continuing the battle and continuing to move on and continue to vanquish our foe, the evil one, day by day, and continue to be giving yourself superpowers as you go along. There's no doubt in my mind that there's superpowers all the time. And being on this streak now of NoFap, I think it's 895 days. We're getting close to 900. I can tell you that it's getting better and better all the time. And that's going to be a topic for our topic today. Our topic's going to focus on something that both Tyrone, one of our viewers, and our viewer HVD IV had talked about. And that's the fact that retention, semen retention, tends to get better the longer you're on it. Now, it's somewhat a little bit about perspective, but it's also about the actual things you're seeing in your life. And I think that's important to recognize. So one of the things that I was always very conscious of was my health when I was younger. And I think it's because I had so many football injuries and, football in college and high school that I knew was going to come back to get me as I got older. So I had to try to find ways, and this is before I was really very spiritual. I had to find ways in which I was able to kind of figure out, how do you stay yourself in shape? How do you keep in shape? How do you do those type of things you need to do to continue to be effective and not to, grow feeble and those type of things, right? Infirm, I guess is the word you'd call it. And so as time went on, I started getting more religious. My relationship with Jesus got stronger. And so then the answer kind of came through in many different ways. And first of all, suddenly I found this book over at Goodwill, I think it was, or one of those places, thrift stores, back in 1997, 98, something like that. We had moved to a house, and there was I think a thrift shop or Goodwill, I can't remember what it was, I think it's Goodwill, over there. And we got this book, and I always like to donate and help out the Goodwill as much as possible. And so the thing is that I got the actual, book, and it was the Fountain of Youth book by Kendler. And the book really was a book that kind of focused on trying to stay young. And trying to stay young is something that I really kind of wanted to focus on and use as a springboard. So I read that book, and I kind of focused on the ideas of the book. And there was like 5 or 6 ideas in the Fountain of Youth book that was important. And a lot of it made perfect sense to me because it made sense that the middle of your body, the chakras, those things make a big difference. I did not do the 6th one because they talked about, well, if you really want to become superhuman, you could do the 6th one. And the 6th one really dealt with semen retention and transmutation and transmuting that information and that energy up. So I had, I had a lot of success in certain ways, but I was always straining to kind of get to the level I really wanted to get to. And as the years went on, I decided that, okay, around 57, 58 years old, I said, okay, this is the time that you're just going to kind of go for broke and go ahead and use the semen retention and do the 6th one and focus on different breathing methods and things you're using to go ahead and try to move that energy up to a next level. So when I focused on that, and then I saw, well, the whole idea was to be able to kind of transmute energy, then it became pretty clear to me that that's the key to a lot of what we're talking about. And as time gone over the last 900 days, and I think thanks, one of the things that came out of the COVID situation was the fact that I was able to stay home and learn self-discipline and kind of work on myself a little bit. And that helped with this situation to try to get yourself in the point where I can now practice, retention more on a constant basis. So going back to the great comment from Tyrone and HVD the fourth, and that was the fact that they're saying that as semen retention, as you go longer, it becomes stronger, and I believe that. I think that as time has gone on, I have seen a marketable difference from the time I started to now. Now, part of the issue, and the reason why you may not see as much dramatic changes as you do at the beginning, is the fact that as you are learning how to do this, you become accustomed to the benefits. When you first start doing it, over the first 90 days or so, you're going to see unbelievable benefits because it's so dramatically different than it was. Your focus level is so much different. Your health benefits are so much different. Your traction level is so much different. Your glow, your voice, all those things start to change. Now, it takes a little time. In my case, I had 40-some years of going in one direction, and now I started moving into a different direction. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean, however, and I think our man Jennings was talking about this, it doesn't mean, however, that you'd have no sexual drive. In fact, as Kendler points out, you have to have a sexual drive to do the sixth one. And the sixth one is your retention and your transmutation. You're really, what you're doing is you're transmuting your sex energy into your rest of your body, back to your rest of the body. So simply, from my perspective at least, this is my opinion, this is not scientific at all or anything like that, but what happens is that as you see an attractive female, you now get excited and aroused. And so now your body's telling you it's time to procreate, okay? So that energy is moving to the area that you use to obviously procreate, and that you can lose your energy, right? Because that's for the purpose. And of course, if you are having kids and you're doing that, then that's going to serve its purpose and you'll be successful in what you're trying to do. However, the thing is that a lot of people are doing it now just out of pleasure, and they're just losing energy, not thinking it's going to be any problem. However, as we know, it weakens you to a huge level. You lose all your nutrients, you lose all your seed, and now you are less of a man than you should be. And this is what we see in a lot of people out there who become beta males, and people who just are weak and not strong warriors. And this is what you got to become, and you got to keep that beast-like attitude and mentality. But you can't have that if you're losing your energy every 4 or 5 times a day. So as you get excited and aroused, all of a sudden you're ready to go to participate in this act to reproduce. However, you're not wanting to reproduce. You just want to go ahead and allow that to come out. The idea behind Kendler and the sex transmutation, which is what happens, and Napoleon Hill talked about this in his book, Think and Grow Rich as well, is you're really transmuting or transferring that sexual energy into productive energy that you're using. Kinetic energy, I guess you'd call this in physics terms. It's potential energy until it's actually being put back into you. And so as you go longer on a streak, more of the energy is being transmuted up. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have a sexual drive. You have a sexual drive because as soon as you see somebody, all of a sudden you're attracted. That will give you the best guess, the best idea, all right? And obviously there are types of things that we have to take care of. There's a problem with that, and that's a different type of situation. But in most cases, when you're seeing an attractive type person, you're going to respond to it. So this tells you you still have a strong sexual nature. The only thing is you're using it now for a different reason, and you're transmuting that information, that energy, to something else. And as time goes on, obviously you're going to have a lot more energy to transfer, and that energy is being transferred all through your body, and it becomes stronger and stronger. And that's why you can stay pretty healthy as time goes on, because you're keeping the nutrients that are keeping your bones healthy, your heart going, All those things are keeping your weight off. One of the things that Kendler has always talked about is the fact that, these Fountain of Youth exercises actually allows you to keep your weight maintained. And I've seen that over, so many years. Even though I've eaten very poorly at times, I've kept that weight to a level, and now it's just a matter of kind of getting it down. And that's my biggest struggle, trying to get my 6-pack of abs, which I will get, just a matter of time. But the idea is you're focusing really on using and transferring that energy. So Tyrone and HVD IV are absolutely correct, because as time, in my opinion, as you go through time, the longer you're on a streak, the more solid you become, and this is how you also get closer to your God, and to, in my case, Lord Jesus Christ. You get closer to your Maker, your Creator, because you're focusing now on things around you would not normally focus on. Because you become less materialistic, you become more spiritual because of this journey. Because now you're seeing things in a different way. A lot of those things that meant something to you, before, don't mean anything anymore. Whether it's money, cars, all these type of things. Now, one of the things that also happens as time goes on, and I think both the Tyrone and HVD IV mentioned this, is the fact that you get so much used to in the habit that you're really not thinking about women anymore. But women are thinking about you because they see you. I mean, when I'm at the high school, college, it's just amazing to me how many people just go, young women saying hi and things like that. Those things happen all the time. It's an amazing type of thing for me to see. And I was not like this before. So when I go to the college and the high school and all these type of things, all the, people there, staff members, everything, it just is high. And when people look at you a certain way, they're looking at you out of admiration. So what is that reason? Well, it's certainly not anything I'm doing necessarily, except for the retention. Because the idea is that you're now showing your true self, the man you are. And I believe God is in you, and God is showing more as you go along. So yes, as time goes on, you're becoming stronger. You're at the point where you're becoming a strong person within the Lord, but you're also becoming a strong person because you're keeping all your nutrients. And as a result of that, now you're at a point where you can grow and you won't even think about those type of things. And certainly I think that's the point that we have to kind of remember here. But we also have to remember the benefits are always going to be there. You have to just kind of handle your energy in the right way. And that's what it always goes back down to. I think Fabian said this yesterday in our video. It's always how you use your energy. That's what it comes down to. And I think in this case, if you're looking at it, and like I said, when it comes to, flattery or flirtation, those type of things, to me at this point in my life, it's kind of just a flattery type of thing. I have really very little interest in doing those type of things with anybody, And the idea is that now I can focus on transferring these things to goals and achieving things. So the thing is that you have to kind of build it. Now, does it mean that the sexual energy, like I said, is gone? No. Of course not. Because the thoughts and ideas there. You're just using it in a different way. And this is a whole different mentality, and I realize that. It's not the same mentality as we're normally dealing with. A lot of people look at you and they say this, and they'll think you're crazy. They'll think you're just, you don't know what you're talking about, right? How can you not want to have intercourse every day? How can you not want to do this as many times as you want? I mean, yes, we have a beast-like mentality, but we also have the ability to control that beast-like mentality. And we have a level of control that we need to exert as a male to be able to get things done. The warriors of old didn't worry about sitting there and losing their energy all the time. because they conserved it. They fought the battles, and all you got to do is go look at what people do before they have a big fight or battle or whatever it might be. Football game. Coaches used to always tell us, especially in college, don't fool around the night before, before you play a football game. Why? Well, you're trying to conserve your energy. You're not going to waste your energy on things that are self-destructive. And that makes a lot of sense, right? That makes a lot of sense. And so that's common sense, but you put it in terms of what we're talking about, what you're doing is saving your nutrients, your vitamins, all those things that are within you, within that semen. And so as you do this, it's really important to kind of focus on the reason why you're doing all this. And the whole idea then is to focus on the strength that you're looking at and trying to build the things that you're doing. And I think part of that then is using the superpower you have, but also maintaining the superpower and making it grow. And this is why we can say that over time, your superpower is just continuing to grow stronger and stronger. And this is why I think Malcolm X, a lot of people talked about that the longer the streak is, the closer you get to God. And I think it takes 12 years, something like that, to actually get, close to God. And I'm looking forward to that. But the thing is that it also, you see all these other benefits along the way. And what you're really doing is you're kind of getting away from the material world. And you're focusing on the spiritual world, the real world, as I call it now. And as you do this streak longer, you realize that most of the material stuff is not really that important. Everything really is in the spiritual energy world. And that's something, as you do this longer, you'll realize. And there's so many benefits that come from this, that as time goes on, they're only going to get stronger. Now, you may not notice a huge difference because you're growing with them every year, every day, but they're still there. And as I could tell, they're still coming all the time. And I see it all the time. And it's always nice when I get people in the responses and, text, all these messages indicating, that my voice is getting deeper and since the beginning. And I have to kind of go back and look at one that I did at the beginning, and maybe I can kind of look at it and tell. I can't really tell, but they're saying you're glowing and things like that. And I appreciate all those great comments. It's very, it's flattering, but what it really is to me is just more of a reinforcement that what we're doing is right and that we're continuing this. So if you can see that in other people and you can see that in yourself, then you know you're on the right track. All right, my friends. Well, enough for today. Once again, a shout out to Tyrone and HVD IV. I think I'm getting that right now. You guys are great. Great comment. We'll do another one. I think King Uche is coming up tomorrow on the business success. And we'll kind of hit that one tomorrow as well. All right, guys. Until tomorrow. God bless you guys. Continue to battle on. Continue to fight on. And make sure that you're continuing to take the evil one and give him a punch, a left hook, and knock him out. All right. Until next time, guys. God bless you guys. Every day is a new day to a wise warrior, and battle on.